Hey everyone, I'm back again and I have a message for you guys today really around conflict resolution and around really everything that we're going to be experiencing over the next few months. So I've heard lots and lots of people say, that with everything going on and all of our, countries and cities going into lockdown and everything kind of going a bit crazy in that regard, we're going to be finding ourselves in close proximity with those of our family members, our partners, whoever is close to us, and we're going to be pushed into a situation where we're not usually in each other's pockets quite as much, and it's going to call for, more understanding and, ability to resolve conflict than ever before. I've heard a lot of people say that, domestic violence rates are going to dramatically increase in a situation like this. And, you can see why that could occur. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this particular message in light of everything that's going on, and just so that we can be more preemptive and more prepared about the kind of challenges that we're going to face as repercussions from the isolation and, the lockdowns. So basically, today's message is that now more than ever is fast becoming a time where conflict resolution and deeper understanding of one another is paramount. And I want to talk to you guys about this because what happens in times of immense stress and uncertainty is we tend to go one of two ways. Some of us go into this mode of really just totally driven by fear, insecurity. We go into self-protection mode, and we tend to assume the worst, and we get caught up in our fears and insecurities, and we project them, onto the people closest to us, and it's going to create a hell of a lot of conflict. The other way and direction that we can tend to go in times of, these immense times of stress and overwhelm and uncertainty is we can go towards being, more of the hero, more of the team, more of the, how am I going to help and support society? How am I going to help and support the people around me? How am I going to make sure that what I do impacts the situation in a positive direction, as much as we can have that influence? And so that's obviously the better way to be. And if we're all operating from that mindset of trying to contribute to the situation to the best that we can, as to not make it worse than it is and to actually attempt to make it even better, if that's obviously the best way to go about it. But most people are reverting into fear and insecurity. And one of the biggest challenges in our relationships is that we tend to take our fears and insecurities out on the other people. And at the end of the day, each of our unaddressed fears and insecurities are always going to prevail over our ability to see the goodness in somebody when we're in a stressed out mode, right? When we're allowing our fears and insecurities to determine our actions and how we're responding to the world around us, we tend to assume the worst, we tend to attack people, and we tend to have an inability to see the goodness in those people that are closest to us in our lives. Now, personally in my life, I've just had this scenario play out big time. So this morning for me, I've had somebody in my life get very caught up in fears, insecurities, and attempt to attack me, in a very self-preserving kind of way based on their own unaddressed fears and insecurities and mind-made stories, right? And so it's pretty disheartening when any of that happens to us in our lives. And I always believe in taking a meta perspective, taking yourself out of the situation and looking at it, like overviewing what's really going on here. And it's not about condoning people's poor treatment or poor behavior, but it is about understanding what's going on in their world. Because if you're not the one getting caught up in fears and insecurities, then, then you can actually get outside of yourself and you can take a different perspective, and you can ultimately see and determine, how it is that people have gotten caught up in their own fears and insecurities and how they're projecting them onto you, and you don't have to make it mean anything about you. But that's kind of next level. And at the end of the day, when one person is in their fears and insecurities, and tends to be the closer they are to you, they tend to have a pretty large influence or impact on your state of mind. And if you're going to get caught up in fear, and if you're going to follow through on their energy rather than being a leader in your own. And so it's something to just be really cautious of, to know first and foremost that in stressful, uncertain situations, people will revert to their unaddressed fears and insecurities, and they can operate from all sorts of directions that are unhealthy from that regard. But at the end of the day, that's going to happen, and then it's about, what are you going to choose to do? You're going to follow them down that path of fear and insecurity, and make a matter, like magnify the fear, or are you going to be able to take the personal element out of it, understand what's going on for them, not let them treat you in any poor manner, but not add to that and magnify, not magnify what's going on for them, right? And just make the whole situation even worse. All right. And so it's about taking care of yourself, and knowing how to resolve conflict rather than magnify it. And also, at the end of the day, when people are getting caught up in their fears and insecurities and projecting those onto you, all you've got in those times is your knowledge of yourself and your connection to who you are at your core, and knowing that you're operating from a place that you can be proud of, and not to revert to manufacturing how you are in this world out of fear that other people's unaddressed fears and insecurities are going to get projected onto you, and let those be the leaders in your life. That's not a good strategy. So like I mentioned today, me having, sorry, there's a huge wasp, me having somebody, kind of project their fears and insecurities onto me today. I was at choice point. Do I let that kind of trigger me, or am I going to take a meta perspective and go, what's the lesson here? And the lesson I was given is, we're in a stressful, uncertain time in this world. It is paramount that we know how to conflict resolve, and also we know how to look after ourselves and make sure that we're operating in a way that we can be proud of, okay? And not let other people's fears and insecurities direct out the course of our lives, and instead be the leader with the energy and the mindset of the person who's going to come into an uncertain situation and do whatever they can to make a situation better rather than worse based on their response to it. Okay, that's definition of emotional intelligence, right? So that's my message for you guys today. I really want to check in with you guys. Interesting, I'm in my PJs this morning, no F45, my gym's closed down. It was going to happen, and I don't know what's happening in the world where you guys are. Let me know what's happening and how you're handling it, and how you're going to, not be the person who gets caught up in their fears and insecurities, but you're going to be the leader. You're going to be the type of person who's going to contribute to the circumstance and the challenge and the uncertainty in a way that makes it better and makes it a much better experience, not only for yourself, but for those closest to you. And to know that everybody's getting a bit stressed out right now, and most of us, unfortunately, do revert to, that reptilian part of the brain, and we're all about self-preservation, and we do end up projecting on the people who are absolutely closest to us, but you have the power to lead people out of that darkness and show them another pathway, which is to step into making the situation better. All right, I'm definitely going to check in with you guys now. Drop me a comment, let me know where in the world you're tuning in from, and I hope that you are keeping safe and you're not getting caught up in, the craziness of it, and you're keeping a straight mind, and you're doing what's intelligent, and you're staying safe, and you're doing the right things, but you're also not getting caught up and letting it determine how you're experiencing life in a fear-driven place. All right, I've got Yolanta and Fehiman and Tara and Judy and Stella and Samuel and Alexandra. Hi V, Charles and I are listening. #gratitude. Lovely to see you guys. Always love when you can join me live. Hope you two are doing amazingly well. I think I'm going to get stuck up here in Noosa for potentially 6 months all by myself. So it could be the silent meditation retreat. I don't have to go all the way to France like I did a couple of years ago to experience it. So it's some interesting times coming ahead, but just know, there's benefit in everything, no matter how it pans out, whether you thought you'd want it that way or not. Everything's happening for a reason and a purpose that serves you. The moment you question what that reason is, you'll discover it. All right, so love that. And Arthur's here as well, and Samuel. I've been guilty of trying to put people at ease. I guess it's not my place to be in charge of someone else's emotions, although my intentions were good. Stay safe. Ugh. I am so with you there, Samuel. That's a very interesting thing. And I've been talking a lot lately to you guys about taking 100% responsibility for what you're creating in your external world. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because with this person who, operated in a less than loving way, should we say today, I actually took a step back and I thought, how have I co-created this? How have I created this situation where a person feels like that's okay for them to operate in the way that they did? And I did realize that it came down to a lot of my accommodating, like you're saying, taking too much responsibility, being overly responsible for other people in your life. And what happens is you end up putting them into a bit of a victim role, and you're actually co-creating that, right? And so I looked at that this morning with the situation that happened in my life, and I thought, wow, I'm going to take 100% responsibility for that, because throughout my connection with this person, I was very much doing what you're admitting guilt for as well there, Samuel. And it's not about feeling guilty, it's just about identifying the pattern and seeing, is that working? And if it's not, going, okay, I'm going to be aware of this pattern coming into play, that I get overly accommodating, get over responsible for other people's emotions, doesn't work out well. They end up playing the victim, and then they end up, retaliating or attacking me and playing the victim, and I've actually co-created that. Things like that. It's very empowering, to notice your patterns and to own them, and just take 100% responsibility, so that nobody outside you has your power. It's not in their control as to how you're going to feel and experience the world. So love that, Samuel. Appreciate your courage and your openness. And Claire's here as well, and Ramon and Graham. Pleased to catch a live video. Always good to see you, Graham. Thanks for joining live. And Daryl's here. Fear, face everything and run, or fuel energy, action, and being relentless. I love it. Boom. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one. So always appreciate your insights there, Daryl. Thanks for showing up. And Brandon's here as well, and Carl from Ireland. It's bad over here, is it? Yeah, I've got a beautiful Irish client and friend of mine who's been filling me in on what's been going on, and I know the schools have shut down, and it's the worst part is where we all get caught up in that fear and self-protection mode, and we go hoarding, right? And we create bigger dramas than are necessary in an already uncertain situation. So yeah, hope you're keeping safe, and hope you're not getting too caught up in the negativity and the fear, and you're just being intelligent about it, like I'm sure you are there, Carl. Thanks for tuning in. And Fareen's here, and Madeline and Graham. That's so true. A current situation has raised fears and insecurities from the same situation that happened to me years ago. You have to rise above it and progress. Absolutely. And the way you rise above it and progress is by taking 100% responsibility for it. And not blaming yourself, not blaming another person, just noticing it's a pattern at play, it's a co-creation that you've been, on, and to choose a different way moving forward. So love that, Graham. Thanks for sharing. And Madeline, glad you're doing well. Love and blessings from Sweden. Thank you so much, beautiful. Hope you are as well, and sending you much love and blessings right back to you from beautiful Australia. And Amir, nice to see you as well, my friend. And Graham from England. Love it. And Ali, hello to you. And Spady is here as well. So I hope all of you guys got some value from today's message. Just know that we're entering a time and space that is absolutely really going to call for our upskilling in our ability to understand others at a much deeper level, and also to resolve conflict, and to give people that understanding. At the end of the day, when two people are in conflict, it's two people fighting over who has the biggest victim story. The quickest way out of being a victim is to take 100% responsibility without blame over everything in your life. All right, and stop handballing that responsibility to other people. Get back into the driver's seat in your life, and stop being the fear-mongering people who are hoarding and creating bigger problems than necessary, and start being the kind of person that you're going to be proud of when you look back on this situation and you knew that you stepped up into a team mentality, not a self-preservation, individualistic mentality. All right, and you made a situation better, and you were a leader, and you inspired other people to step out of the fear and start contributing and start doing the right thing that's going to have better repercussions in the future, rather than the ones that we can get caught up in when we're in those unaddressed fears and insecurities. All right. Hope this has been valuable for you, and I'll say hi to Ricky as well. Hope you guys who are just catching me live now will get the recording, get a ton of value from today's message. And as always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, that you're not getting attacked by huge wasps like I am, and that today's message has definitely resonated with you and reminded you of the kind of person that you'll be proud of when you step up and be the leader that you are in an uncertain situation, rather than following other people's fears and making the situation worse. All right, thank you so much. And Lee's here as well, and Samuel, loving that there's some great words here as well. And God protect you. Thank you so much, Amir. And sending you that back as well. And Joseph is here as well. So I'm signing off. Catch the recording, get some value, drop me a comment, stay safe, stay sane, and do what you know your future self is absolutely going to be proud of yourself for. All right, sending you guys all of my love, and I'll see you tomorrow.